This is Common Sense Generation. Common Sense Generation. Hi guys, this is Common Sense Generation, and today we talk a lot about technology because I have a great guest with me in the studio, John Biggs, entrepreneur, and also the editor of East Coast for TechCrunch. John, thank you very much for coming.
Howdy.
Well, you know, let's say everyone in Silicon Valley, and a lot also about what's going on. How did it happen? You made a huge career there. You know so much about this technology. What was your path?
I was a computer guy earlier, right? So I was into computers. I wrote my own operating system in like high school. I also wrote a novel in high school. So I did both. So I was creative and I was a programmer. And I went to Carnegie Mellon for information systems, which is computer science essentially for dummies, because I wasn't really good at computer science. I didn't have like I didn't have the academic rigor to sit there and like do the traveling salesman problem in C. I didn't like it. And I also got a bachelor's in creative writing. So consistently I did this dual track, which was computing, technology and writing. And after that I went to NYU to get a master's in journalism, business and economic journalism. Back when I got my master's, this was 2000, I was probably the only person thinking about the connection between technology and business. The consumer technology page in the New York Times where I was writing was on the back of the sports page. Nobody was thinking about technology as like a connection, so nobody connected these things. Now Uber is on the front page of everywhere.
Everything connects with technology.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was really interesting to be at that point, especially when I could articulate both the technical aspects of the thing. I know how things were coded. I know how things worked. I could understand how things, and then I could also write, which was nice.
And this is, of course, very unique as well because we use all of this technology every day. But if it was taken away from us, we have no idea how it is made. Mm-hmm. Most of us, of course, not. But it's a beautiful aspect. So you've seen all this huge revolution which was created through how our everyday life started to change through technology. And of course, through, let's say, usage of smartphones. What do you think was also the main trigger of those changes and the fact that now we have in our pockets something which is a small camera, a small recorder, mm-hmm. a video recorder, a way to connect, but also it could be our calendar, it could be, let's say, everything.
Well, I mean, look, we can say that, yeah, we have a little computer in our pockets, but what we do have is like dopamine injection system. The phone itself is not abject good. It's not a moral good. It's not a good thing. We can argue that technology has pushed us forward quite considerably. We can also argue that it's also given us a lot of misinformation. It's also given us a lot of confusion. It's pulled us away from each other to a degree. So coming at it from a technological aspect, I used to be a techno-utopianist. Like we could argue that I was a techno-utopianist. I said that technology is going to fix everything. At this point, it's probably not. It's actually going to make things worse. I mean, you guys saw a lot of that stuff happening here in Poland. You see it in the States with a lot of misinformation and garbage coming out. Orban, all that stuff, all the Russian misinformation attacks, all that stuff is really damaging to our psyches. That said, yeah, it's a great little dopamine machine. It's the best way to sit there and stare at something for an hour. It's the closest to like, I don't know, Zen meditation that we have anymore.
Sit there in this way of course, I mean, it's a tool and how we use it, but it's definitely the AI for making a lot of fake things happening there in the world, and usage of, let's say, political purposes is definitely dangerous.
Let's not say dangerous. It changes our brain chemistry, right? So neither of us can sit here for very much longer than 30 minutes without staring at this thing. I don't think so, and that's problematic to a degree. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter because we're still living our lives. Nothing's happening, but it's changed our brain chemistry considerably.
Oh, very interesting. You're right. So previously, we cannot focus for that long time on, let's say, books or things. I was still a person who grew up without a phone, but definitely my daughter is already growing up with her knowing how to use it. Being just 2 years old, you cannot take it away. When you're using it, she's seeing it. So and those children have it in their from the beginning. So they're going to have different brains.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, I could argue. So a buddy of mine pointed out that I wrote 11,000 posts for TechCrunch, and I was a journalist. A normal journalist would write, I don't know, maybe 20 stories a month maximum. I was writing probably 20 stories a day at one point.
How did you manage to do this?
I got really fat and drank a lot. Now I only just drink. But yeah, I mean, look, that was the only way that we could cover the news. There was so much tech news coming out that I used to write 28 posts a day. I'd wake up in the morning, write 10 in the morning, and then write 16 at night.
That's a huge amount of articles.
So I'm just sitting there writing these things, and he pointed out, like, yeah, my brain chemistry has been completely fried because I can write something in 10 minutes. I can write an article in 10 minutes. I'm a sprinter at this point. I've written 10 books. I've done all this other stuff. I can write in short bursts really quickly. I miss a lot, I think, because of the way I've had to write, because of the way I've been trained to write. But if you want to argue that I was a content creator built out of the rise of the internet. So, and now there's content creators built out of the rise of the video internet. We could saw the visual or audio internet and all the podcasts and stuff. And those folks are in a different world now as well. So it's a strange way of approaching media now, because it requires so much constant attention and constant cultivation that if you don't, then you kind of sink to the bottom of whatever.
This is Common Sense Generation. If you like this channel, please subscribe, share, and comment. Your voice really matters. Full I read, and it's right now mostly based on videos and short videos who come and go, and all the time you need new things. But on the other hand, as you mentioned at the beginning, they're so very easily created by, or not true, or created by AI, or if changed, something which is true is changed by AI or changed by editor, and then it leaks out there, and who can check if it really happened or didn't happen. But coming back to technology and your path and what you've seen, the other huge topic, and which you also wrote so much about, is crypto. And it was this moment when I thought the whole world just thought it's going to be another miracle, and it will only be digital currency. There will be no cash anymore, ever. We'll give up our national currencies altogether, and but it didn't happen.
I mean, it kind of did. I mean, you probably haven't carried cash in a couple months now. How much cash are you running around with right now?
Well, a lot.
Like some change, and maybe like a 5Z or whatever.
But also, when you don't want things which you're doing be tracked, then you.
Well, what are you doing that can't be tracked? How much ketamine are you buying?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, so who cares, really? Ultimately, we're using our phones. We're doing digital. We're doing everything digital anyway. We could be at a point where we're like in the Czech Republic, where you basically everything that you buy goes onto your VAT. It's clear. I forget how that works, but there's like a whole system over there. We're already digital anyway. Crypto didn't really change anything. It just made it slightly easier to buy ketamine. And in terms of a national currency, who needs a national currency ultimately? It doesn't matter. If you have the U.S. doesn't have a national currency, and it's way bigger than most of Europe, so it's working pretty well over there. The biggest question is how do you work together as different countries, which also eventually goes away because we meld into one big mess of a country at some point. That's what eventually happens. But in terms of crypto is really nice. Crypto's nice if you need to move some money really fast. Crypto's nice if you want to avoid taxes. Crypto's nice if you want to destabilize a government. And the technology is really nice. I like the technology a lot. The way it works in practice right now is far from what it should be. I mean, I can swipe my credit card here, and I'll immediately see a notification on my phone. It'll come out of my bank account. I'm protected if somebody's trying to scam me, etc. If I try to do the same thing with Bitcoin, I can get screwed instantly to a degree that's unconscionable if somebody figures something out. I knew this one guy, Michael Turpin, who got his phone hacked and stolen, and they took, I think it was $25 million worth of Bitcoin.
Wow.
And he's just running around trying to sue T-Mobile now. That's his entire like personality, which is, I mean, it's kind of shitty, but that's the way it was. That's the way it broke down.
So explain to us how it is possible, because it's that it was done in such an easy way, and with Bitcoin.
Oh well, so for example, I was hacked once. I'll tell my story. I was hacked. They basically swapped my SIM card. So they basically called T-Mobile and said, "Hey, I'm John Biggs. My phone, I've lost my phone. I lost my thing." And they asked maybe some numbers. They asked my social security number. I don't know what they did or not. It doesn't really matter anymore, because a lot of the call centers, they don't really care. They'll just ask you for your address or something like that. All this publicly available information. It can happen to anybody. And then they swapped that SIM. They immediately went for all of my two-factor authentication stuff, all my SMS stuff. So if I had a Google account, Facebook, all that other stuff, they started shutting me out of that thing. I watched every single one of my things get logged out of in real time. Because I was a journalist, my attack was noticed almost immediately, because I was able to like tweet, "Hey, T-Mobile, I'm getting attacked," and somebody like called me from like the president's office or whatever. If I were a normal person, I'd be hosed. I'd be completely hosed. What happens then is they go in and they figure out, they hack into your computer, they hack into your Coinbase account or something like that, see what you have. What these guys were trying to do, my dad was dying at the time. They pretended to be me asking my friends, "Hey, can you send me a Bitcoin, because they're gonna unplug my dad from the hospital, and they're gonna kill him." And I'm like, and all my friends were like, "I don't think that's how hospitals work." But these guys were so stupid, they tried this. Another guy asked another friend of mine, he said, "Can I borrow 10 Bitcoin?" And this is when Bitcoin was fairly not that expensive.
Right now, if you borrow 10 Bitcoins, it would be...
"Can I borrow 10 Bitcoin and I'll give you 11 tomorrow," or something like that. Some kind of like real like innocuous thing. And all my friends like, "I don't think this is true. I don't think this is really stupid. Were you hacked?" and all this other stuff. And eventually I was able to get all my stuff back. I got it back in a day. Whereas if the average person does this, you never get it back. Another buddy of mine was about to get invested into. He thought an investor was going to give him like $1 million or some kind of for a product, and the investor, quote unquote, told him to make an account on Bitcoin.com, which is a service that you should never use. Make a wallet on Bitcoin.com. It was his wallet ostensibly. It was fine. It wasn't going to be a big deal. It's like, okay, all that money's in my account, right? That's what you think. It turns out that there was a 0-day exploit on Bitcoin.com that really would allow those folks to come in and basically steal all the money out of that account. So they kept on asking to put more money in the account, "Hey, we need you to put 50,000 in there to make sure that you're serious about this investment. Then we're going to give you 75,000. Then they're going to go back and forth." It was like this rising thing. He was an older guy. He didn't quite understand how Bitcoin worked, and even I probably would have been fooled too. And immediately he's like, "Oh, this is weird. I'm going to move all my money out of here." And he told the guys, "I'm going to move all of my money out of here." Instantly, everything was gone. So he had put in probably about $100,000 into this account, and wow. They took it out immediately. So if not your keys, not your crypto, and the ease of stealing your keys is 100%. It's like super easy. I used to work at Kraken, and that's basically a lot of the support questions were like, "Where'd my crypto go?" And it's just because somebody forgot their password or somebody forgot everything. So put $1 million in a wallet and you forget how it works, or somebody steals your code, then you're done. You're toast.
That sounds really frightening on one hand, but because on the other, a lot of explanation of crypto was because it's so safe, because with digital currency, based on crypto, based on Bitcoin, based on that you can track it down where it came from.
Technically, but once it's out of your wallet, it goes to somebody else's wallet. There's no direct correlation between somebody's wallet and somebody's person. So it's like somebody's ID.
I see.
If you create an account on Kraken or Coinbase or one of the big exchanges, then yeah, 100%. You have to put KYC, know your customer stuff in there, all this information that you can basically track it down to. But I can make a Bitcoin wallet on my phone right now, and I could send that 25 million that dude lost onto my phone, and I could walk around with it. Nobody would know.
I see.
So I could do cross-border. I could do anything I want.
Well, it's definitely more. It's easier. It sounds easier than, for example, carrying $25 million in gold.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, if I wanted to steal $25 million in the real world, I could probably just make a business and I don't know, create a SPAC and then and screw investors. I could do that pretty easily. It's been done multiple times.
Agree on this as well, but you at least need to.
Yeah, you have to hire a lawyer.
And you at least need to make all those investors to invest in you, and this depends on you and trust in you. So you're screwing your image down.
Yeah, but that's a little. I mean, look at Truth Social, for example, like Trump's thing. That's complete garbage, and he knows it. Everybody knows it, but that he's fooled all of his conservative investors into giving him money. It went from like $32 to $40, I think, $40. Now it's like $20, and when he loses, it's gone. It's toast. But that took all kinds of people and all kinds of like real like hardcore, and it took a full 20 years of cult of personality for that to happen. Whereas now, all you have to do is create. So, for example, right now you have these situations where people are simulating Elon Musk or simulating some like YouTuber. They can literally make him look like it's just a deep fake. And Elon Musk is saying, oh, it's X coin or Tesla coin. And if you put in $1,000, you're going to get $5,000 out. So what people do is they put in $1,000. They see on the computer that, oh, that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when they see that they've gotten their $100,000 it's ready to go, then they try to take it out. And then somebody says, oh, you got to put in 10% of that for taxes or something like that. And like the sane person would say, well, I have $150,000 there. Why can't you just take it out of that? But the stupid people would put another $15,000 in, and then it's just a constant battle with these guys.
Sounds crazy, sounds dangerous, but it seems like also people have to really know how to go through it, because that's reality as well.
Yeah. I mean, if your parents talk about it, don't let them do anything with it. If your grandma talks about it, unless she has a, doctorate in computer science, don't let them touch it.
Fully agreed. Well, thank you for this. John Bakes on Common Sense Generation and all the dangers of cryptocurrency. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I also thank Polish National Foundation for making this video podcast possible. Thank you for watching. This is Common Sense Generation. Common Sense.